just to do this, so we did try this on Tuesday and we had a question, but I'm going to do this at the start of all of our lessons during this consolidation period. Does anyone have any questions that came up in your exams that you would like to go through? So like a specific question that you had that you found really difficult, you didn't know what to do, you didn't understand the answer if they gave you the answer. Does anyone have a question that they would like to ask from their tests or exams? And if you don't, that's also okay, just in case you do. No one today? Okay. I know it's asking a lot to look at your work during holiday. Oh, Amber, great. Okay, do you wanna type it or do you wanna say it out loud? Either one's fine with me. Yeah, and Tanya, you can absolutely ask next week. Okay, Amber, we're all yours.
Hello, ma'am.
Hi.
I'm going to go and grab my exam paper now. We're running.
Excellent. I'm glad.
Okay, so we came across this one thing. It said 5x plus 1 is equal to 625. And that was for 4 marks. And I didn't understand how to do that.
Did it just look like this? 5x plus 1 is equal to 625.
Like the x plus 1 is the exponent.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay, cool. We can definitely go through that. Okay, do you have your calculator nearby?
No, I actually lost mine. Sorry.
Where my calculator is. I'm just going to go on a quick, guys, we're going on a quick journey around my flat while I look for my calculator. Sorry about this.
And Amber, you should definitely get a new calculator, girl. You need
I do.
You need a calculator badly. Maths in high school without a calculator is no fun at all.
a pain.
Okay, all right, I'm back and we have a calculator. So this is called an exponential equation. An exponential equation, the first step when we have an exponential equation, so I'm just going to write what it's called, exponential equation. The first step when we have an exponential equation is we want them to have the same base, okay? And so in this case, this has a base of 5, which means we want this 625 to have a base of 5. So if you use your calculator, you can literally put it straight into your calculator as 625 equals, shift, fact, and it will tell you that it's 5 to the power of 4. So your calculator will do that for you. If you don't have your calculator, you can also do it the long way and think, okay, well, 5 to the power of 1 is 5, 5 to the power of 2 is 25, 5 to the power of 3 is 125, 5 to the power of 4 would be 625. Okay, so you can work it out that way. So that means that 5 to the power of x plus 1 is the same as 5 to the power of 4. As soon as your bases are the same as each other, you're allowed to say that the exponents are the same as each other. So then I can say x plus 1 is equal to 4, which then means x is equal to 4 minus 1. So x is equal to 3.
Thank you, ma'am. I understand now. Thank you.
Good, no problem. Happy to help. Okay, guys, so if you have questions, always, we're going to start all of our lessons during consolidation with this little time. Maybe we can even bring something like this into our term lessons. Yolanda, we could probably do that, hey? Like our first 5 minutes of the lesson.
Definitely. I think it's worth it.
So if you have a question that's really bugging you or something at school that's sort of in your way, we can do a question a day. So if you have something and you don't know how to do it, bring it and we'll have a chat. Okay, cool. Thanks. Thanks, Amber, for that question. I am sick. I'm sick. I don't have COVID, if that makes you feel better.
Not COVID, guys. It's not.
Not COVID. I thought I just had a cold, but now I think it's traveling into my chest because I've started coughing up delightful things. So,
oh, wow.
It's really just a joy over here. Okay, so today we're going to chat about negative exponents. We sort of briefly brought in the idea of negative exponents when we were talking about exponents on Tuesday, but now we're going to talk about it in a bit more detail. So we learned from law 2. So law 2 looked like this. If we have x to the power of a over x to the power of b, that's the same as saying x to the power of a minus b. Okay, we learned that on Tuesday. That's law 2. So that would mean that this is equal to x to the power of 3 minus 4, which is equal to x to the power of negative 1. Okay, that's not wrong, but in exponent work, we don't like having negative exponents. We always want our final answers to be positive exponents. And so in order to change that, we need to think about how we could write that in a different way. So let's look at what this looks like if I wrote it out the long way. If I wrote it out the long way, I have 3 x's at the top, and I have got 4 x's at the bottom. So when I cancel, that cancels with that cancels with that cancels with that. So I'm left with 1 on the top over x. Okay, and so through that, we're able to see that x to the power of negative 1 is equal to 1 over x. So when we flip things around like that, it changes our exponents from positive to negative and vice versa. Okay, so if I had to rewrite x to the power of negative 1, I can rewrite that as 1 over x. Now be careful, this 1 has nothing to do with that 1 over there. That 1 is just saying that it's a fraction. So if I had x to the power of negative 3, that's the same as saying 1 over x to the power of 3. Okay, so this number is going to be the same as that number. It's not going to be the numerator, which is a normal mistake to make. All right. So another one. So if I have x to the power of negative a, what's that going to be? What's that answer going to be? And remember, it doesn't matter if you're wrong. Just give it a try. Okay, so careful, that's a very, very, very normal mistake. But just think about what we spoke about now. Lucia, can you help me? What is x to the power of
No,
negative
ma'am. I want to ask about the previous sum.
Sure.
X and the negative 1 as the exponent is equal to 1 over x. Yeah, I understand that. And then, ma'am, where do you get the minus 3?
It's just a different question. So this is a separate question.
Oh, okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
No problem. Oh my goodness, guys. Unati 1 is back. She left us on Tuesday, but she's come back. She's returned.
Oh, welcome, Unati 1.
Unati,
Hi,
can you help
ma'am.
me? Hi, welcome back.
Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, I'm kind of lost on what's happening here. So
Exponent.
can you please explain? Because I just joined now.
Okay, we'll get there. Don't panic. So it'll start coming together. I'm not going to start the lesson from the beginning again now, but it will start filling into place. Don't panic. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay.
You'll be fine.
You will be fine. Okay, good. Roma, that's excellent. 1 over x to the power of a. Excellent. I'm seeing a couple of you got that answer. That's awesome. Okay. So when I have a negative exponent, in order to make it a positive exponent, I need to make it a fraction and I need to bring it down. So remember, if you have a number, like if I have the number 5, I'm always allowed to write that as 5 over 1. If I have the number x, I'm allowed to write that as x over 1. If I have y, I can write that as y over 1. Okay. So any whole number can actually be a fraction. This is the same as saying x to the power of negative a over 1. And when we have negative exponents, what we're wanting to do is we're basically wanting to flip those around. And sometimes it's hard for us to see that that's what we're doing, because when we have a whole number, you're like, well, where on earth is this 1 coming from? But it's actually just that denominator that would have been there. It's just we don't write it. So that's why it gets a bit confusing. Okay, so this would be the same as if I had x to the power of negative y, that would be equal to 1 over x to the power of y. Okay, good. And now I'm glad it's clicking. Okay, let's try one more like this, and then I'll zoom out so you can take a screenshot. Okay, so now I have a question of 1 over a to the negative 1. How can I write that? So I want positive exponents. So at the moment it's 1 over a to the negative 1. How can I write that so that I have positive exponents? Beautiful. Okay, nice. Okay, so you could write it as a to the power of 1 over 1. So basically what we're doing is we're flipping those around to make it positive. But a lot of these ones are not necessary. So that one at the bottom, we don't need to write it. And the one at the top, we don't need to write it. So we actually can just write it as a. You can write it as a to the power of 1, but you can just write it as a. Okay. So this is just looking at our negative exponents and our negative exponent rules. So I'm just going to zoom out so you can take a screenshot if you would like one.
Time to shine. Take a screenshot.
Okay, let's try and deal with some questions in. Okay, so these ones, I'm going to talk you through these ones. I'm going to go through these questions, and then I'm going to give you a whole bunch that you can do by yourselves. Okay, so these ones I'm just going to talk you through so that everyone's on the same page. All right, again, this is one that we have similarly to the ones we had last time. We have x to the power of 6 over x to the power of 8. Now, if we think about law 2 that we learned about on Tuesday, we know that we could write that as x to the power of 6 minus 8. You don't need to write this step. I'm just showing you all the different ways, which would be x to the power of negative 2, okay? We don't want to have negative exponents, so we're going to write that as 1 over x to the power of 2. You can actually jump straight to saying that that's 1 over x to the power of 2 because your x's are bigger at the bottom. So wherever they're bigger, if you think about where they are bigger, that's where they're going to stay. So I have more x's at the bottom than I have at the top, because if I had to write this out the long way, I've got 6 x's happening at the top, and I've got 8 x's at the bottom. And so those 6 x's are going to cancel with those 6 x's, and you can see that you are left with these 2 x's at the bottom. Okay, so I'd be left with 1 over x to the power of 2. So if you just think about where are my x's bigger, and then you think of law 2, but you kind of do it in reverse. So then we take 8 minus 6, but because my x's were bigger at the bottom, I can just write it as 8 minus 6, which would be to the power of 2. Okay, so wherever it is, you can write it to that point. You don't have to write all of these steps in the middle. You can literally just go straight to that point over there. Cool. Let's look at our next one. Okay. Oh. Now in this one, we have to be careful about our different bases, okay? So we have to think, we have to look at our A's, and then we have to look at our B's. All right. If we're having a look at our A's, we can see that our A's are bigger at the bottom because we've got a to the power of 2 at the bottom. So I can write that as a to the power of 2, and then I've got a at the top, so I'd be left with 1a at the bottom. Then if I look at my B's, I've got 3 B's at the top and 5 B's at the bottom, so I'd be left with 2 B's at the bottom, and you can go straight there. If you want to work with negative exponents first, you can. So you would have a to the power of 1 minus 2, b to the power of 3 minus 5, which is a to the power of negative 1, b to the power of negative 2, and then because those are negative exponents, you want to bring them down. Okay, you can also, so these are all just different options, you also are always allowed to write it out. 3, 4, 5, okay, and then you can cancel. So that cancels with that cancels with that cancels with that cancels with that, and then you can see, cool, I'm left with 1a and 2 b's. Okay, is this making sense so far? Can you give me an idea of how you're feeling? You can either use an emoji or you can give me a number out of something. How are you feeling with these so far? Great. Okay, thumbs up.
Like that 10,000 there.
Yeah. Okay, Lome, don't panic. It'll all start coming together. You can also rewatch the video of Tuesdays whenever you get a chance, and that will make things sort of come together a bit more. Cool. No, so this type of question, if it's out of this type of question, would probably be out of 2 marks, and you'd be getting a mark for the A and the B squared. So you don't get any extra marks for doing any of that. You're only going to get a mark for the answer for these types of questions. So the other steps are really just for you if you're wanting help with how to do them. Okay. All right, let's try another one. Now this one. So Shayan, sometimes when teachers are trying to teach you a certain topic, they try and encourage you a certain way to stop you from making mistakes down the line. And so then they may give you marks along the way to try and help you, but they aren't allowed to not give you full marks for being able to go straight to that point over there. So if you make mistakes along the way, sometimes you can still get marks, like in these sections over here. You might not then get full marks, but it depends on like what your teacher sort of is prioritizing. So if they've taught you a specific way, and they're really wanting you to use that way, then they may put marks there to make sure that you're following what they're wanting you to do. You know, as teachers, we're sneaky folk. Oh, Loretta, don't panic. Okay, so on Tuesday, we just started working with exponents. We did the laws when we were dealing with multiplication, division, a power to a power, and a power of 0. But the video is online, so you're welcome to watch it whenever you get a chance. And when we start working through some of these, I'm sure some of it will start falling into place. But don't panic.
Because we normally do a lot of it. So you will
Yeah.
be fine. You'll understand.
You'll be hundreds. Okay. All right. So now this question comes up a lot. This is a sneaky question. And there's a really nice trick. When you have a fraction, and that whole fraction, so everything in brackets, has a negative exponent, we're allowed to flip that fraction and make that exponent positive. Okay. So whenever we have a negative exponent with a fraction, we're actually allowed to flip the fraction and make my exponent positive. It's this really cool power that we have. So whenever we have fractions and there's a negative exponent, we're allowed to just flip that fraction and make it a positive exponent. And then we can simplify from there. So is what optional, Alvarez? Like exponents in general? And then from here, if I was wanting to simplify, I've got 2 y's at the bottom and I've got 1 y at the top, which means that's going to simplify down to 2 over xy. Oh, well, so you can also do it a longer way. So with this, if you have a negative power, you could take that negative into everything first. So you would have x to the negative 1, y to the negative 2, over 2 to the negative 1, y to the negative 1. And then everything would have a negative exponent. And so then you would have to just flip everything around and then you could simplify. You can definitely do it that way. This way just saves you a lot of time, and it makes it you're less likely to make mistakes. So when we're in a situation like this and there's so many negatives, it's very easy to forget to move something. So, yeah. Cool. Okay. All right, let's look at our next one. Okay. When we get questions like this, what I recommend you grab is a highlighter or a pencil, something which can distinguish differences between it. And basically what you want to do is you want to find everything that's negative. So here I've got y to the negative 3 and z to the negative 1. And once you've identified what those negatives are, those are the things that need to move. So my x squared is positive, which means it needs to stay on the top. My y cubed is negative, so it needs to move down. And my z to the power of 1 is negative, so it needs to move down. And then I can't do anything more because I can't simplify. I've only got x, y's, and z's. There's nothing more I can do. That would be my final answer. So when we have negatives, we want to just move them to make them positive. Okay. Cool. I think I have, yeah, next ones are going to be you. Okay, so I'm just going to zoom like that. So if you would like to take a screenshot, you can. And then the next ones you are going to try. You are going to try the next questions.
I think the previous slides you're talking about should be actually on the slide, because we have example 1, 2, 3, and 4. So you have everything on the slide now.
Loretta, are you
Fine.
meaning the like first explanation?
Oh,
Cool. All right, let's get ready. You are going to try these ones by yourself now.
let's do this.
You're going to help me and I'm not going to talk anymore. So from now, when you're ready, please put your hands up so that you can answer these questions so that I can have a break.
You can sip your tea now. Let's go, guys. Tiana on the line.
We're all yours, Tiana. Talk us through.
I'm nervous, but I have this to say this. But anyway, so the okay, must I say now? What's the step? So I said,
Yeah, well, can you tell me what you did? Yeah.
I said y 3 minus 4.
Okay.
And it equals to -1.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, I said 1 over y.
Well
Perfect.
done.
Nice work. Great. Okay.
Guys, I hope you're marking. I hope you mark your work.
Let's give B a try. Also, I'm very excited for your brain break today. I found something slightly different, which is quite cool.
Hopefully, TikTok won't ruin your.
I don't think TikTok's going to ruin this one.
Okay.
I think I'm safe. Oh, sorry, Belinda. But it wasn't like a big question. So it didn't feel like a bow kind of question.
Belinda, you're allowed to ask questions also. So you can raise your hand or you can put, whatever question you have on the chat so we can help.
Okay, Unati, are you going to talk me through this one?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Okay, ma'am. I'm not sure if I'm right though.
Okay.
But you're gonna say the a minus the 2, and then you're gonna put it at the bottom. Then it's gonna be a.
Okay, good.
And then the 3 minus the 7 is -4. But when you put it as the denominator, it's a positive exponent, so it's gonna be b4.
Mm-hmm. Good.
Then a 1 on the top.
Perfect. 100%. Nice. Nice job. Great. Okay, we are getting somewhere, guys. The hands that are up, were those to answer or were they to ask questions? If they are to ask questions, please keep them up. If they were to answer, you can drop them for me. But don't worry, I'll share the love. So if your hand was up, I promise I will try and go to you in the next questions, okay?
Well done, guys. You are killing this.
Oh no, Alvarez, what's going on? Why are you feeling lost? What are you doing? What are you doing differently? Like, what did you get for this question?
Raise your hand, Alvarez, or put it on the chat.
Lucia, can I help?
Oh, ma'am, sorry. I made a mistake.
Oh no, it's okay. Don't worry. 1 over a. Yeah, but Jordan, that's
Yeah,
right.
that's
1
right.
over a b to the power 4. That's right. Okay. So now this one, we're bringing in some numbers. So remember, try and deal with your numbers first, and then look at your variables. So think about what's going to happen with your numbers, and then think about what's going to happen with your variables.
Lucia, you're done already. Nice.
Lucia, I promise I will call on you to answer this one, okay? I'm just, Alvarez, if you're feeling lost with him, then I think what I recommend you do for these types of questions at the moment is write them out the long way. So what I mean is, write them out like that. And then cross out for there. Just while you get the hang of it. As soon as you get the hang of it, you'll be fine.
And we had to help Alvarez.
No, Lucia, I've lost you. Your hand's gone.
Oh. Lucia, are you still here or you
Where'd you
out?
go? Where'd you go, sugar pie?
I'm checking for her.
Okay. Teacup 1 is finished.
Two
moving-
more to go.
We're moving on to number 2.
Okay, I think we
okay,
lost
okay.
Lucia.
No, she wanted to know something about the previous sum.
Oh,
That's
okay.
why. Okay, Tiana, we're all yours. What is this
Thank
going
you.
to be?
So, ma'am, I said 3 and 6. So like I said half because like
Good? Yeah,
it's
that's
3
right.
2 under. And then
Good.
Well done.
then I said M on top in under because I wrote it like in a long way. I said M in under, I wrote 3 M's in, yeah.
And then you cancelled.
And then I cancel yes, and then that's how I got my.
Perfect. Guys, when in doubt, write it out. It is never, ever a problem to write things out the long way. Well done. That was nice. So if we write it out the long way, we can see that the 3/6, that can simplify because 3 goes into itself once and 3 goes into 6 2 times. That n can cancel with that n can cancel with that n, and then you'll see what you're left with. So I'm left with 1m at the top and I'm left with 2n at the bottom. You don't have to write that 1. You can also write that as m over 2n, but it's entirely up to you. So you can write either. Okay, Lucia, I'm just going to quickly pop up to the last one and then you can ask your question. Do you still have a question with this one? Okay. I can come back to it if I see the question pop up in the chat. Okay, now we're getting a little bit spicy. What's wrong, Alvarez? Why are you mamming me? What's going on? Oh, sure. Okay, so all we've done in E is we looked at our numbers. We said 3 goes into itself once, 3 goes into 6 2 times. My n's are going to cancel, so I'm left with 1m at the top and I'm left with 2 and an n at the bottom. That's all we've done in this one. I'm waiting, Alvarez, but I'm trying to figure out what's going on. Why 3? I don't have a 3 anywhere. My question was a 3. My question was a 3 and a 6. I feel like I'm getting lost in translation over here. There's the 3 and then there's the 6. The 3 goes into itself once, the 3 goes into 6 2 times. All I'm doing is I'm trying to simplify 3/6. So 3/6 can become a half. That's all that happened over there. Okay. Okay. All right. Let's have a look at D. Try and figure out this one for me. It does get a little bit nastier. Think about your numbers first. So think about how we can simplify the 2 and the 8. Then think about the x's, the y's, and the z's. X's, y's, and z's. Don't fall for any traps here. Look about where they're bigger. So my x's are bigger over there, my y's are bigger over there, my z's are bigger over there. That should help you.
I see Layla focusing. Layla, do you have an answer for us?
Oh, yeah, as you said that. Hand went up.
Oh, look at that. Yay, go.
Layla, we're all yours. Talk us through what to do here.
So I said the top one is 2. No, as 1.
Okay,
And then the 8 is at the bottom is 4.
good.
And I did the long method. So
That's
I said 2x on top, 2x, 3y's, and 5z's.
Okay.
And then at the bottom I did 1x, 5y's, and 8z's. And then I cancelled it all out, which is 2x on top, 1x on top, and then 4y2, and z5.
Beautiful. So we're going to have 1 over 4. Let me just try and zoom out a little bit. 1 over 4. I'm going to have 1x at the top. I'm going to have 2 y's at the bottom, and I'm going to have 3 z's at the bottom. Is that what yours looks like?
Yes.
Beautiful.
Well done,
Nice job, Layla.
girl.
Nice. Okay, so you're always allowed to write it out the long way. Don't ever panic about it. So that x is going to cancel. Let me make this a little bit smaller. That x is going to cancel with that x. Those 3 y's will cancel with those 3 y's. Those 5 z's will cancel with those 5 z's. And so then you can just see what you're left with. You're left with 1x at the top, 2 y's at the bottom, 3 z's at the bottom, and the 1 and the 4. Okay, and remember, your calculator can simplify the 2 over 8 for you. So if you put 2 over 8 in your calculator as a fraction, and you just push equals, it's going to give you the answer as 1 over 4. Okay. Coolio, let's take a brain break, and then we'll come back to some more.
Our Brian break.
Yes, sorry, Mr. Brian, you're right. Okay, so this brain break is a little bit different today. You have to figure out 3 things. Those 3 things will each equal a different letter, and then you have to figure out what the word is that I'm looking for. Okay, so the 3 things that you're figuring out will be equivalent to a letter. Then once you have the 3 letters that you figured out, you have to figure out what word I'm looking for. Here, it's a 4-letter word because you have to find 1, 2, 3 letters. And then you have to tell me what the word is. And my 4-letter word, it ends with an E.
Nisha saying, yo, way.
And if TikTok has
that
done this before
expression.
me, I'm going to lose it. Yes, I've beaten TikTok.
Let's go, guys. We can do this.
It's not tone. It's not nope.
Nico, that was very creative.
You
Nope.
guys are not working out the numbers. You're just trying to figure
And
out
they're
words. I
not.
promise
Yeah.
if you take time to just figure out it's not hard to figure out the numbers here. It's not cone, it's not mute, it's not bone.
Guys, let's figure it out.
No.
Figure out the numbers first, guys.
Some of you are on a good track though. So some of you have got the right letters. I'll put it that way. It's not cone. It's not 9.
Alvarez, definitely not. Definitely not.
There's at least 2 of you who have the right letters. It's not tame or time. No, no, no. Tiana, you're figuring out what these are as numbers. And once you know what they are as numbers, you can see what they are as letters. And then once you have your 3 letters, you're going to think about what word this could be. So once you have your 3 letters, you're going to think about what word that could be that ends in an E. I'm so excited, Yolanda. I finally got them.
Yeah, imagine we haven't gone this long on these things. So always be like, brain break. Doop, we have an answer today. Today is like, and I feel like you should just leave it, and then it's like for the next day. You know, like next week we keep on and on until we figure it out. So when time is gone, it's like, okay, time out. You'll figure it out next session.
Some of you guys are so
Like,
Unati, yes. Matinze, yes. Well done. It's once.
Well done. Oh, damn it. I'm so happy.
Nice. Well done.
Nice
Okay,
one,
let's
guys.
quickly chat about how to do this one. So this is the easiest of these ones. These ones get quite a lot harder, but I thought I would give you an easy one for the first one we do, and then I'll bring harder ones as we move on. So start with your numbers and say, okay, well, 8 times this dude equals 32. So that must be a 4. Okay, so we know that one of our letters is an N. Then 4 plus 12 is going to give us 16. So our other letter is an O. And then 9 times 8 will give us 72, which means our third letter is a C. So then we know that our letters are N, C, O, and E. And that's why those of you who had cone, you at least had the right letters. You were on the right track. But cone wasn't the word that I was looking for. I was looking for the word once. That's why you got nose. Yeah, no. So once this is just to help you find the letters and the numbers, and then once you've done that, then you have to try and unscramble the word.
Nice try though, Nadia.
Yeah, what is nose? I don't know. Nice job, guys. I hope you enjoyed this one. Yeah, so we do a brain break every lesson. This is the first time we've done one like this.
Yeah, they're all different.
Otherwise, it would have taken you a shorter amount of time to just figure out what the numbers are.
Yeah, definitely.
Always has to find a way around this. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's jump into some more questions. Okay, so let's do this one first. Okay. But I'm telling you, you could be a lazy person if you did it the long, like if you figure out the numbers, it'll be quicker. So that's actually the lazy route then.
I'm searching on Google.
Yeah. Let's see how you guys go with this question. So first, your first mission is to move things that are negative and move them so that they become positive. And then once you've got positive things, then you want to simplify so that you get a nice final answer.
Nandugubeka, do you want to give it a try? I see you go. You want to give it a go? She's like, no ways.
No.
Have Jasmine talked to us today?
No.
Jasmine, this is yours, girl. Do you want to give it a try? We'll be helping you.
Yeah, Jasmine, I think you should do this one.
We'll be good.
Okay, Kira, what am I going to do in this question?
Good evening, ma'am. Ma'am, I don't know how I did it, ma'am, but my answer is 3x 3 to the power of 3 and y. Like 3x exponent is 3 and then it's y. Sorry.
Where's my y? Is it at the top or at the bottom?
I don't know. At the bottom.
At the bottom.
No, it's on the top. Sorry. I'm really confused, ma'am. I don't know.
Is that what you have written as your answer?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, it's definitely the right answer. I'm going to talk through to everyone to see how we can get there, but nice job, Kira. Well done.
Thank you, ma'am.
Nice job.
Okay, so let's talk about how we can get to this answer. So if we're wanting to write it out the long way, we've got 3, and then the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to move my y to the power of 2 to the bottom so that it's positive. Okay, and then you can either simplify that the short way, or you can write everything out and see what it looks like. And then those y's are going to cancel. And so then you can see that you're left with 3x to the power of 3y and nothing at the bottom. Okay. Tiana, is this a question or are you wanting to answer?
Now I have a question, ma'am. Ma'am, I put
Okay.
it over 1.
Yeah,
Is
you
it
can put it over 1. That's fine. You don't need the 1, but you can put it over 1.
I thank you, ma'am.
Sure. Does anyone have any other questions about this one?
A screenshot.
Yeah, how can I help?
Ma'am, can you please explain the answer, how you got the answer again?
Which part of the answer? Are you happy with this first step over here?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
I
and
understand
then
that one.
writing it out the long way?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so then we're just crossing out what we don't have. So that y is going to cross out with that y is going to cross out with that y. So I'm left with 3 x's and I'm left with 1 y.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
No problem. Okay, so if you're multiplying your y's, you could. Okay, so you could write it like this. You don't have to do it this way. You could have written it as 3 to the power of x, and then your y's would be -2 plus 3. And then that would be 3xy. Oh, sorry. That's totally fine. You can definitely write it like that. So you could first link these y's together and say, because you're multiplying them, because they're next to each other and they have the same base, you can just add the exponents. So you can definitely do it that way, 100%. Okay, let's give the next one a try. So as soon as it moves, so if it's a numerator like it is over here, as soon as it moves to become a denominator, then its power changes. That's our whole rule with negative exponents. So if it's at the top and it moves to the bottom, then it would become positive. And if it's negative at the bottom and you move it up, then it would become positive when you move it up. It's always going to be the opposite when you move it. Yeah, Tiana, hello.
Ma'am, say we get this in a test, ne? Is it gonna say simplify?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And it'll say leave your answer with positive exponents.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
No problem. Okay. This one's a little bit nastier. Just be careful with this. This whole thing is to the power of -1. So be very careful with this question.
Let's do this, guys. Let's do it. Don't be
No,
nervous,
don't be
Tiana.
nervous.
Unati one says, I'm ready.
It's not possible to put this on the calculator, unfortunately, because you've got variables involved. That's why we have to use our noggins.
Come on, guys, let's do this. Alvarez, we hope you are trying one.
Mm.
Answers, answers, answers.
So this one is, there's multiple different ways you could go about doing this question.
Come on, Zako, are you done yet?
I think, although I do see the lovely hands that are sticking up for me, I think I'm actually going to talk you guys through this one, just so that we can talk about the... Oh no, don't worry. That's definitely not the case. Lots of people will feel lost. Don't stress. There's lots of different ways we could go about this question. So I'm going to show you the two main ways we could go about this. Okay. So one of the ways that we could go about this is we could use our law 3, which is the power to a power. Okay. And I could take that -1 into both of those in the brackets. All right. So basically what I'm doing is I'm saying I have 2 to the power of -1, x to the power of -2, over 4 to the power of -1, x to the power of 3. Okay. Is there anyone who is unhappy with what I've just done there? Just with that step. Just that step. If you're unhappy with that step, let me know. Tiana, yeah.
Ma'am, why do we put the 2 and -1 as an exponent?
So at the moment, if that 2 had an exponent, it would have an exponent of 1. And so we're saying 1 times -1, which gives me -1.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Sure. Why is it 2 negative? So what we're doing when we have a power to a power, so like if I have x to the power of 2 to the power of 3, when we have a power to a power, we multiply those powers. So that becomes x to the power of 6. So what I'm saying here is we've got 2 to the power of -1. So that's 2 times -1, and that's going to give me -2. So we're multiplying that out. And here we're saying 1 times -1, which gives me -1. Okay. Once we get to this point over here, once we've actually broken it up, then what we want to do is we want to highlight everything that has a negative exponent. Okay, so that has a negative exponent, that has a negative exponent, and that has a negative exponent. And anything that has a negative exponent, we want to flip it. So if it was at the top, we want to bring it to the bottom, and if it was at the bottom, we want to bring it to the top. So I'm going to first write what's going to stay put. My x cubed, nothing's happening to it. It's staying where it is. Okay, that's that x cubed, nothing's happening to it. This 4 to the -1 needs to move up. So I'm going to have 4 to the 1, which is now going to move up. Then I've got this 2 to the -1 that needs to move down. So I'm going to have 2 to the 1, and this x to the -2 needs to move down. So that's going to become x squared. Okay, so then I'm left with 4 over 2 x squared, x cubed. When we get to this point over here, we can look at our numbers. So we can simplify our numbers. We've got 4 divided by 2, which just gives us 2. And then at the bottom, they have the same base. And so we can just add our exponents. So we've got x squared times x cubed, which gives us x to the power of 5. So that's one way of doing this question. Another way of doing this question is because this whole bracket is to the -1, you actually can just move it down as a whole, and you can move this 4 to the -1 up. So you can start by saying, cool, that's 4 to the 1 would be at the top. Then this whole bracket is going to move down to the bottom. And you'll end up getting to the same answer. which is totally fine. Layla, that's great. I mean, it's always good to do it in different ways. This is just looking at 2 of the different options that we have. And on that wonderful note, everyone, so the 5 came from having 2 plus 3. That's how I got that 5 over there. Is I'm going to leave you in the capable hands of Yolanda so that you guys can get going on your quiz. And I will see you all next week, Tuesday.
Oh, yes.